Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Path as we draw closer to the big one, the Golden Slipper. As I say, a very good evening to my co-hosts, Ron Duff and Brad Gray.
Yeah, Al, it's, shape up or ship out day, Brad, I think.
Certainly
a few horses have to put their hand up, semi-final day, 2 weeks before the Slipper. If they got to go again, it's not easy to do.
No, and the current favourite isn't exempt from that discussion, is he?
No way.
WODETON, he's currently a $3.50 favourite. He's been the horse to beat for a few weeks now, but it's go time for him. So looking at the state of play in terms of prize money, a win is obviously exemption, but if he runs second, he gets $56,000, and that's enough to get him into the field. So a very important stepping stone for WODETON there on Saturday.
It certainly is, and he's still our $3.50 favourite for the Golden Slipper as we take a look at the market and how it stands as we head through this weekend. No doubt there'll be changes off the back of it, but WODETON is our $3.50 favourite. Then we have North England at $9. He was there for an exhibition gallop as well on Saturday. I thought he looked well. He looked well, didn't he? BEL is at 13s, along with Within the Law, Bivarked, West of Swindon and Rivellino, all $15 chances. Rivellino, of course, a winner on the weekend, and Tycoon Star. $17 heads the rest of them onto the other page. Now, we talk about this Golden Slipper order of entry, Duff, and it's something that you wanted to touch on. There's a few that are out, which we've highlighted, so they've gone to the paddock.
Yeah, well, I was more looking at Bella Zane's where she sat, whether she'd have to have another run next week. But if you take 5 horses out above her, which are, most of them are in the paddock, the Playwright's in the paddock, the Carrion Dream's in the paddock, my Gladiola's in the paddock, I wouldn't think we would have heard of Return to Conquer was coming from New Zealand, and Blitzberg's in the paddock. So that brings her up to about number 9. So I think she's pretty safe now, and WODETON will probably sneak into the field, but there's a lot of action to happen with the next 2 winners of the next. There's another 4 slots up for grabs, and obviously prize money up for grabs, so he's not as safe.
And then from the weekend, Brad, Rivellino, Skyhook. Skyhook probably won't be able to do enough now to make his way in.
No, would he go to a Pago?
Well, they might have a last throw at the stumps with him, because he's had a couple of weeks since his last run, so he's a chance of getting that late surge into the race.
Bella Zane was brave, Within the Law
was
huge.
Yeah, I made the mistake of underestimating that Millennium form, and it just keeps,
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Even Artistic Venture ran really well through that same reference.
Well, she'll have a crack next week as well.
And she gets James McDonald aboard too. He's been good,
so Skyhook was unlucky though.
Oh, should have bowled it.
Yeah, he should have won. And even Quietly Arrogant, a bit unlucky as well. That got a bit messy.
Yep.
That race. It was a bit of a sprint home.
And I was on second and third. That'd be right. Yeah.
Sorry to bring up the wall.
And what did we make of Rivellino, guys?
He's just a little professional. He adapted to a slowly run race. He looks your size, Champagne horse, but sometimes a strong horse like him can really charge home and run a big race in a Golden Slipper.
And just keeps winning.
Yep.
All right, well, the boys step out this weekend once again in the Todman. We see the likes of WODETON, and we see, who else have we got in there? We've got WODETON, we've got North England, to name a couple, Bivarked, Tycoon Star. Let's take a look at the market. 220 about WODETON. North England is at 550, Bivarked 6, Tycoon Star 10s comes up from Melbourne out of the Blue Diamond, along with Tentris, Peloton 18s, Aleppo Pine, who I believe might be going to the Black Opal, King of Pop, a $19 chance. What do we make of that market?
Well, he's just a popular horse, you know, and if you look at the next replay, there's no way in the world you could mark him a $2.20 chance on this performance, but it doesn't tell the whole tale here, Brad.
No, he's still trading off that debut win, isn't he? So,
and he's trading off liability as well.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he's a little bit risky in that regard when you're considering the context of him being $2.20 on Saturday. But as we look at this replay, are we ignoring the obvious with Bivarked? He's an improving type. He's had the 3 starts. Each time he's stepped off what he'd done previously, which is a really good trait for a 2-year-old. Here was WODETON, wide and working, dry track, Rose Hill, 1,100 metres, first up improvement to come. You can be forgiving. I thought he was still good, chasing them home. And then you had Buffalo. Look at him. He gets the wobbles, doesn't know what he's doing, but he hits the line full of vengeance. I don't think he's a slipper horse, but he might do something here at big odds and could be a little player for a race like the size. But WODETON's going to be the name on a lot of punters' lips, and listening to Tim Ryan, it sounds like the punters are all over him on Saturday.
Yeah, so, he will improve, but on that performance there, you'd be a little bit shy of taking the 220, but we know he's better than that.
All right, let's take a look at the Blue Diamond, and here we focus on Tentris and the horse that's probably the eye-catcher here, Tycoon Star.
It was a Blue Diamond that wasn't run at a fast speed. I haven't checked, but I mean, I would say it'd be one of the slowest run Blue Diamonds we've had in the last 20 years, looking at them. So I thought Tycoon Star, his last two performances have been incredible. Now, they had him in Melbourne on Saturday, I think in the size, it looked a gimme race for him. So they're treating him like a Golden Slipper colt, bringing him here on Saturday. His effort there, and that's not taking anything away from Tetris. I thought and these young boys are training the house down. So I think he's a dangerous horse there on Saturday.
Yeah, it's an easy race to be negative on, isn't it, as far as the times and the margins, but we'll get a good line on it. And Saturday we'll see that real blend of the Melbourne horses and the Sydney horses. Now I know everything's easy with the benefit of hindsight, but to this point, really keen to see where that fits in.
I'm keen to see how Tetris goes. I had a chat to Anthony Friedman at Trackwork on Tuesday morning, and Nash Rawiller, who had a gallop aboard him and said he felt like a mini weight for age horse, I think was his exact
that's a good rap from
words. Yeah, so he was really pleased with how he handled the Sydney way of going too. So that's North England, who came to the races on Saturday after he was scratched with. I think he just had a blood that they weren't 100% happy with.
Yeah, that's right. So it's nice to see him. He was in great shape. He just cruises up here in this track gallop. He's in really good shape. He looks like he probably takes the lead in this race, the Todman Stakes on Saturday. And look, he's going to be hard to beat because we know his style, we know what stable he's from, we know he's going to be ready even with that little weak setback, with that just that little issue with his blood.
I found it interesting actually. Adrian Bott said on Tuesday morning as well that they'd left a little bit there. They didn't have him really screwed down for this week, so they haven't really tightened the screws.
Well, when you win the Golden Gift, you've got that luxury, don't you?
You have got that luxury.
Prize money in the bank.
All right, let's check out the Pierro plate where we highlight Palatine.
Well, what do we want to say? He was disappointing, but he was so dynamic in his first week.
know.
Can you just look? He's a bit like WODETON, really, and we know, Chris Waller's a grand final trainer, but Michael Friedman knows how to train these 2-year-olds as well, and he would have thought, yeah, well, I'll just take my time. I think he's, I know I've got to earn some dollars, but it just may have had him a touch underdone. I'm not sure.
He's gone from the second favourite and a $2 favourite in this race to all of a sudden completely brushed in the Golden Slipper market. He's a $17 chance on Saturday. So I don't know what to make of that run, because if you backed him at the short quote at the 400, you were counting your cash. How far?
Yeah, exactly.
He travelled sweetly, had the run of the race, and then he just blew up that last little bit. So was that fitness? If it's fitness, then you're cooking, but I don't know. He's been a long way.
Yep, there's lots of questions and no answers.
That Todman is a good race, isn't it? Looking back through recent history, the past 6 winners, Switzerland, Cylinder, Sejardin, Animo, Fun and Yes, Yes, Yes. So there's no room for the weak there.
No way.
Stallion making race.
Absolutely.
All right,
They'll put that on their promo now for the ad.
That's right. Let's take a look now at the girls here in the Reisling, or the Reisling. We'll have to double check how you say that, Duff, I think. What's
We've
their
been
oracle
arguing
say?
for 20 years about that. Some say Riesling, some say Reisling.
What do you say?
I just go with the flow.
That's the best way to
I say
do
the
it.
Riesling.
I say Riesling, but
If you're at the bar, is it Reisling?
Yeah, well, I don't drink that stuff.
all right.
It's too sweet.
Tempted heads the market there at 370. She's just out of touch from 350. We had BEL MERCI at 6 is looking to bounce back. Inkaruna, $6, $7.50 about Nullarbor Jane, who's been backed in from 11. Savvy Halley is at $8.50, and then $11 or more the rest. Tupacara's there as well. I think she's dual nommed for the Black Opal, and then Pearl de Chocolat at $19. So Tempted is the one, albeit she's drawn barrier 11. What do we make of her at the top?
Well, another one out of the Blue Diamond, went back, couldn't come from behind. She was excellent. Considering circumstances, she set up a form pretty good in Sydney prior to that. She hit the line well. So, yeah, if you should look here, Brad, she had legitimate excuses behind the pack here. And not a lot of room to move. They open up for a bit there. She gets hampered. And she still does a good job considering that the way this race was run. So, total forgive in my eye.
She has to be the starting point as far as the market goes, doesn't she? Given she jumped $7.50 and in the market for a Blue Diamond. It's interesting, the fillies at the moment, the fillies picture. So they're in limbo a little bit. So originally we thought BEL MERCI was the one that was going to really train on. She's had a few little misgivings since that Jim Crack win. Tempted's there, Bellazane's there, but it's ripe for the picking for a 2-year-old, maybe from left field, particularly a filly, to really jump out of the ground here.
Yep.
Just on BEL MERCI, what do we make of her run? I think she had mucus in her trachea that they found post-race, but that was the only abnormality that they'd been able to pick up.
Yeah, it's interesting after that, and then John's such a professional trainer that he's really happy to run her. It terrifies me from having couldn't possibly back her in this race. But it stops me from having a bet in the race because if she come out and bolted in, I'd have a sour taste in my mouth. But she's a very hard one to read. She is a very hard one to read here. We know she's sharp, and it's a race she could take ownership, her old ways of leading here.
All right, well...
I do not know.
OK, well, we'll leave it there then and we'll move on to Inca Runa, another one here for Anthony and Sam Friedman. She's had the one start there. This was in the Chairman Stakes on the 1st of Feb and she's since come up to Sydney and had a trial here also.
Yeah, I don't mind her. I thought it was a good win and there's been a winner out of that race already. Looked a strong enough race and I loved the way she got on the right leg in the trial and had a lovely cruisy day out. So, terrific trainer of 2-year-olds, Anthony, so... Yeah, I think she bears a little bit of respect here for sure.
How did she get that photo?
I don't know.
Doesn't matter now, the number's in the frame, but she looks talented, doesn't she? So, different form line. The only knock is the gap between runs, 1,000 to 1,200 metres. Maybe that's not ideal, but very smart training operations. They wouldn't be here if they didn't think she could win.
All right, let's talk about Tupakara, who is also nommed there for the Black Opal on Sunday. She's had a recent trial here and she was a real eye-catcher last preparation, wasn't she?
Well, I think she was the name on most people's lips after the gym crack.
Yep.
She was terrific and I fell into her in the Golden Gift thinking this is a real star filly.
So did I.
Yeah, so straight to the paddock, maybe she wasn't right. You know, I don't think she's a barrier trial champion. But she's a lovely, strong filly who I probably want to spec on Saturday without wanting to spec her in a golden slipper or anything like that. I just thought she might be very strong here, first up 1,200.
She's another don't know, isn't she?
Don't know.
And
there's a lot in this race.
That's it. And one thing to note about the trapeze artists is how much they develop and furnish in certain amounts of time. You can see them really come on even from one prep to another. You miss them a couple of weeks and they've furnished. It's incredible how quickly they develop, the trapeze artists. So really interested to see how she is in the yard too. We'll have to keep an eye on her. Let's move on now to Mahuna out of this 2-year-old filly's maiden plate at Canterbury.
What do you make of this race, Canterbury?
Well, they backed her as if she was going to win, and she did. So, margin's only narrow. It looked like a grinding style of win, but we have seen the form through this race stand up. So, Autumn Blonde there, who ends up running third, and then you had Dreamside, take nothing away from Dreamside, who ducked up the inside and made it an interesting go at the finish. So you have to respect how much money there was for her on this occasion. She improves, she maps well, she's in the right stable there with Michael Friedman. So she has to take another step off that, but I'm not going to say she won't.
All right, let's look then to Nullarbor Jane, and I had a chat to Sarge at Trackwork on Tuesday morning as well. He's quite confident with this filly, this daughter of Too Darn Hot, and impressed with her recent trial.
He's got two in at Lady Pankhurst as well. Did he split them or...?
I think at the time we were discussing where they might go, he was more bullish about the chances of Nullarbor Jane, and she's been 11s into 750 already.
Very hard for a first starter here from wide draws. They can show speed in trials, then they jump and they get experienced horses drawn underneath them in races. It can make it a little difficult, but look, he's got a very good team at the moment. I saw he had another couple of beautiful horses trial today, may have been, Sarge. So he's got a good team in at the moment, and I will respect any yard or late market moves on his horses for sure.
So far there has been some support. Which might tell us that there is some expectation that she will run well on debut despite giving away a bit of race experience. So, as you say, that last 5-10 minutes of betting will be all important.
Well, I was out there Tuesday morning and I was bugging all the trainers at Trackwork, so as we head to a break, let's hear what they had to say. We saw North England there at an exhibition gallop on Saturday. All systems go towards the Todman.
Yeah, look, he's in great shape. He's come through that very well. He'll take his place on Saturday in the Todman. He obviously missed that run in the Silver Slipper, which would love to have had with him. But yeah, he's got the benefit of being qualified for the Slipper. So Saturday's race will be an important race for him. Expect him to run well. No doubt there's still some improvement with that, with the lead up that he's had. Some improvement to come going to the Slipper, which is obviously everything that's been his main name.
Yeah, nice trial win. She's had a couple of trials for 2 wins. Very promising. It's a big ask against the horses, 2-year-olds that have raced and whatever, but you only get to go at black type, every now and then. So she's fitting well, and Tim Clark galloped her today. He'll ride Saturday.
This 2-year-old season is so open at the moment. You are aboard Tentris there in the Todman, who ran second in the Blue Diamond. Have you had a chat to the team there to get a feel on how he's come up?
Well, I think I rode him this morning, so he's definitely come through that run very well. He's a lovely colt. He's got a beautiful attitude, adapted well to this way of going. Couldn't fault him. Yeah, he's just sort of come back and said that he just gets around like a mini weight for age horse. So, yeah, looking forward to having a sit on him, and he's in the right camp. They've had great success sort of bringing him up this way, and I can't see why Saturday would be any different.
We liked him from day one. He was okay first start, bit lost, bit new. Improved at his second, and obviously improved again for his third. He's only arrived on the weekend, but he galloped really well this morning, handled everything this direction and the ground. So, going in there with some optimism, it's a strong race. It's probably the race that'll determine everything. So we'll probably work out where we're at.
I've always loved this horse from the time I sat on him. Obviously, the wind was out of our sails a little bit with him first up, but he was first up after 5 weeks off. We know Michael's horses always improved with a run under their belt, and he had a very big blow after the race, so he's taken good improvement from that. I galloped him last Tuesday, was very pleased with him, and about to get on him soon. So look out for him Saturday. I know people have forgotten about him, but I think they'll be talking about it again after the weekend.
Another good question. Nothing has really, put its hand up to say that he or she is going to be the winner. So I think that's a year that a filly could win.
Team Colt.
Colt.
Team Colt.
Team Colt.
Colts. Colts.
Team Colt.
At this stage, I think Team Colt. Colt.
Colt.
Team Colt.
Probably Team Colt this year. I think but to be fair, last year we thought the Colts were going to just absolutely destroy the fillies. You can never really tell, but I think at this point it would be, by weight of probability, it probably has to be the Colts this year.
Team Colt.
Team filly.
Too early to tell yet. It'll change a lot in the next few weeks.
I reckon Team Gelding.
I like that.
Feeling Ready's got the slipper at his mercy, and Feeling Ready won it.
Team Gelding. I think I would have been Team Gelding. It makes it a little bit more interesting because then we can watch them for years and years to come. But Shaggy, who was flying the flag for us for Team Gelding, is out. So what are you guys with?
Geez, the poor old filly's got a bad rap there. I tell you, they can jump out of the ground in the next 2 weeks. They might run a second quicker than the Colts on Saturday. And
the funny thing
something
is
wins by 3.
The only one that said filly was the ultimate contrarian, Richard Friedman.
Yeah,
he waited till everybody else had their go and said, "I'll go filly."
Richard says, if they're all no good, it's a good year for the fillies. The Colts are no good if the filly wins. He's like that. He's got his list of grievances there, and he sticks by it.
Go against the grain when you can.
No, he wouldn't do that.
Never. All right, we got a behind-the-scenes look at Shaggy there on the weekend with his trainer, Alan Keogh.
We're spending a day at the races with Shaggy and the trainer, Alan Keogh, formerly of Port Macquarie, training out of Wyong now. Exciting day for you.
Yeah, no, it's very, very exciting for everyone in camp and the connections. It's up to the boy now. We've done our job again, so see how it goes.
We know the story behind the name. When he was still a colt, he got a little bit amorous with the mares. You had to geld the horse, which has worked well, and he's developing a cult following with his great racing.
Yeah, he is. He just keeps on raising the bar every time we step him out. He serves it up to him, so we need him to step up again today, and hopefully he can get us to the slicker, the big one. So.
And you're a part owner, of course, as well as trainer, which is a big benefit.
Yeah, it helps. It's good, so real good.
Skyline Stakes is the race. He's a short price favourite. You seem pretty easy going though. You must be happy with the way the horse has gone into the race.
Yeah, he hasn't changed going into this race and then he did the other races, so if anything, he's probably come on in his coat and probably beefed up a bit more, so no, real happy.
He's not a real big horse, is he? He's going to get bigger, obviously. He's only a 2-year-old, but he's doing a fantastic job for his size.
Yeah, he's only a little pit pony, but he don't know that, and I'll probably only ever had one chance of racing in a slipper, so we're not going to dodge it, so he'll be there.
We can't let you go without asking about the cast. I read that you fell off at track work and it was a nasty one. What did you break? And you also got hit in the face by the look of it.
Yeah, he bloody horse tumbled over on top of me and give me a couple of kicks to the head, kick in the back, but broke my thumb. But other than that...
Would have copped plenty worse playing football, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've copped a few on the field, so pretty little... I'm only a little fella playing against them big ones, but held my own.
Adam Hieronymus maintains the ride for Alan Keogh.
He looks the complete 2-year-old. He flies the gates, he relaxes, he quickens. He gets his chance to put his name right up in lights here. If he ticks off this 1,200 metre box today, there's going to be plenty of golden slipper stories about him.
Shaggy's paraded, he's gone out the race. Is the horse as you would like?
Yeah, he's nice and relaxed. He's saving all his energy for the race, hopefully, so I'm real happy with the way he presented in the yard.
Hopefully we'll see the result you want.
Well, hopefully, we can only pray.
Then we'll be on to the slipper, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, see what today brings.
Shaggy popped the question now from Valedictorian. Rivellino hitting the line well. Quietly Arrogant goes back to the rails. It's Valedictorian, Rivellino that beat off Shaggy. Skyhook and Quietly Arrogant are surging. Quietly Arrogant going after Rivellino. Rivellino, though, has got them covered. Rivellino, a narrow winner of the Skyline.
Shaggy, 5th in the Skyline. What do you make of the run?
Yeah, I was real pleased with the run still. He just raced tired. Hippo said he won't explode. He said we were going to lead. And he said he sort of didn't have the speed to lead today. He said he just go on the gates. It didn't give him the same feel. So it's been a big prep. It's like the Queensland prep was probably 2 runs in one. So he's had 4 runs on a barrier trial all in one go now. And he didn't disgrace himself today. I think we've been over a length and a half or some 2 lengths, so it's been a good journey so far, so I'm wrapped. The horse don't owe me nothing and I want him for long term. I've waited too long to get a good horse, so I ain't wasting it for one race, so he can go. He will be going to the paddock, and I've made me mine up, and we'll bring him back as a 3-year-old and we'll get to racing some good races. So.
Cap's fallen off quickly, joining is Aleppo Pine. In front is Gauga towards the line. Aleppo Pine launching late.
Welcome back to the Golden Path. There was the most recent trial, a tick-over trial from Aleppo Pine, who I believe is headed towards a Black Opal on Sunday. At this stage, time of record, he's still dual nominated for either the Todman or the Black Opal, but at this stage he's a $5 chance. Farsighted is our $4.20 favourite there for the Group 3. King of Pop is at 6s, Nashville Jack $7.50. Tropic, who James McDonald goes down to ride at $9.50. Nullarbor Jane 11s and then $13 or more. The rest, what do we think of that?
Good race.
It is, isn't it?
Good race, good competitive, good betting race. I said they brought it on a bit earlier because there's suspected rain late in the day. So hopefully they get away with that and on a good fair track, because that's a real contest, that.
I think it's been downgraded, the rain as well. We've had the cyclone there's been some changes, so I'm not sure if that's changed the way that the weather has been here. So hopefully they don't get the rain because they do a fantastic job.
My word.
Yeah, I like the way that King of Pop won at the midweeks. He was really good at Warwick Farm. I think that's a deep race, and Nashville Jack is the other one that catches my attention there.
And Gerald and Sterling, when I've heard them over the last month, even though they were Skyhooks was sensational the other day, they've always said, "Oh no, King of Pop's our number 1 seed."
There's something in
there
that.
might be something in that, and that race in general.
All right, Tim, we're only a few short weeks away from the slipper now. Have we jumped off, or are we sticking aboard with our bets with WODETON and On the Rough Path?
Yes, I am with WODETON still. I said I'd be on until I see him in this race on Saturday, and that's when final decisions have to be made. I have swapped to Bella Zane. I know she's not a roughie, but geez, I loved her run the other day. She just fits into this slipper on-pace brigade that are going to be very, very... She set up that fast time the other day, and I thought she survived really well, 1,000 to 1100, 1,200 there. So I've just swapped to her a little bit.
This might be the most loyal we've ever been on this show, sticking with WODETON all the way through.
It's because he hasn't run.
Go all over the place. But yeah, we've stuck fat this year. With Savvy Halley, $101. She'll have to win on Saturday in the fillies race. But speaking of that King of Pop form reference, she was brave fighting at the finish there, covering ground. So Brad Willett looks to have a really nice filly on his hands.
We're all about the girls. I've gone with Artistic Venture there as well. And
there you
she
go.
came through in the Millennium as well, where she was unlucky, and then she was unlucky on
Fillies
the weekend.
Year. Yep. Who said it was all about the Colts?
That's right. Well, speaking of fillies, that's a good segue into your Brad Gray's Golden Achiever.
Yes, so this week Shani was out at the stall, Chantel Buckley there for Sky Thoroughbreds Central, and Lady Shenandoah made quite a pest of herself, didn't she? So we know that the human females love their diamonds, but it turns out even the fillies do, of the thoroughbreds, because I think she was trying to have a nibble at Shani's bling on her wrist there. You can see her giving a little bit of a nuzzle in, and she was obviously feeling well. She went out and delivered on the track, and she's a bit of a star, isn't she?
I think Shani would have told her off after that too. Shani would have said, "Excuse me, miss, get back there."
Absolutely.
There'll be a dry cleaning bill there for Wallow Racing, that's for sure.
She's quite quirky, Lady Shenandoah, actually. Yeah, she's quite quirky.
She is. It also reminded us of a clip from The Simpsons with old mate Homer once upon a time, given the nudge there. So
that's very accurate. Did you find that yourself,
No,
Brad?
I didn't. That's Alex, the producer's fine work there.
Well done, Alex. You always come through with the goods for us. It just goes on and on. All right, that's us done for this week's edition of The Golden Path. We'll see you next time.